There we go. Now it's on.
Now we got it. Let me call the chat up. Wow, people are already in here. Congratulations. Oh, Jimmy's really holding it in right now with that thing.
Yeah, you hit the live button before I could really get into a rant.
Man, we've already got Mr. Carroll Science, BB, and AA Ron, and Theory, and Nathan. Dang, you guys are good. So just so you guys know, I literally was driving. I left my parents' house in Thousand Oaks at around 3-ish today and got in here like 3:30 and then got in here like right now. So I'm pretty much just like dead. I did not kick the breaker, Mr. Carroll Science. I don't know what you're talking about.
No, I didn't even check that. I didn't even check that. You think it could have blown the if it clicks? Is it just the switch there? There's no
just the switch.
Huh?
Well, do we want to pop it open?
Yeah, I just want to be sure that it's not this though. Go ahead, talk.
1 second, I'm digging up the link so people can get on.
Digging up the link.
Digging up the link. Digging up the link. Come on, guys.
You know what?
It might have been the power thing.
Okay.
We might be back on.
No, I'll do it tomorrow or sometime.
Oh, did it actually blow the breaker?
I think it did.
Oh, shoot.
Let me get down by your lap there, Calvin.
Oh, it's so awesome. Yeah, keep it up, Jimmy.
See? That's not going to because that should light up.
Yeah, I know.
Great.
Well, that explains why when we plug the power supply in.
The thing is, I have had several printers printing at once on that thing before, and it never had any issues. So why did it die with that?
It has issues.
All right.
No, TK, Jimmy does not have my Moai. That was actually never my Moai that was down here. That was a friend's Moai.
That was Lucky 13. Lucky 13 had the Moai, and then when he moved back east and left me, he sold the Moai to the one, the only, the sexiest man on YouTube, Travis.
Yes.
A Pyro Design. That's where that Moai came from.
My Moai is currently living somewhere in Northern California at a friend's house. So,
well, should we show them what took 34 hours and 21 minutes to print?
I think I'll kill the lights and see if it glows.
TK really should be proud of this one. Look at this, TK.
Oh yeah.
Oh, light up the top one. The top one,
I
dude.
will. Well, I want to see what it looks like with all the lights.
Wait till you see what the top one is, though.
UV.
Yeah, man. I get my cup out of the way.
Oh.
Come on, light up the top one.
Oh.
Oh, look! I got my teeth now. Yeah, that looks freaky.
We're gonna go blind doing this.
We're gonna have like, oh, dude.
Dude, your floor's blowing right there. What happened there?
You'll never know.
Let me just try killing it really fast and see what it looks like. If it glows. Oh wait, can you turn the monitor off real quick?
Can you turn the monitor off? Okay.
Dude, your film in the corner is like glowing.
Okay, how do you turn the monitor off? There we go.
Okay, so here we go. We're gonna kill the light now. Dude.
That glows really good, dude.
That is nuts. Can you hand me my phone real quick?
Yeah.
I want to get a photo of that so I can tweet it, so just in case it looks like garbage on there. Okay. 1 sec. Sorry, guys. We're having a little too much fun right now. So, UV.
Check this out. Check out these colors.
Oh.
How they glow with that black light.
Dude. That is sick. All right, I'm going to kill the light now.
Okay, kill it.
Oh, man. Oh, don't use the flash, you jerk.
My retina's detached. No. Dude, it lights up this room.
It's, well, that and your heater, but
Well, yeah, I'm old. Yeah, that could be too. But no, seriously, I can see the wall over there.
Yeah, no, it's bright. All right, I'm turning the regular light back on.
I'm turning the monitor back on.
Sick.
Now that Calvin had his fun.
I have my fun for the night. Okay, I'm gonna tweet that out to you guys, and then I'll send you the link. No, we actually, TK, we actually have that dragon about short distance away. Mr. Carroll Science says it didn't show up at all.
Didn't show up on stream. That's sad. Did it show up on your camera?
Mm-hmm.
I know it showed up on when I filmed the video for this a little bit ago before I started this live stream. I was able to catch it on my camcorder. That is 2 perimeters, no infill.
Wow.
And that was a full roll of filament when I started.
Can you imagine if you'd done infill?
Oh yeah, that would use the entire roll. Even at like 10% infill, it would have been completely.
I wonder what the nozzle's like after doing that, though.
But you know, if you look at the layers and everything, it doesn't look like it over extruded.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
So
it'd be a minor diameter change over time.
That was at 0.2 layer height.
Wow.
I'm actually very pleased with the way that printer prints.
I am too. What's the build capacity on it?
300 by 300 by 400. But with that said, did you see up there? Go around to the front of it. And take a look at the spool holder, and you'll see reason why this was at 380, 380 millimeters. Can you see a problem if you're printing at 400?
Yeah.
So the spool holder needs to be raised.
Yeah, bad design. Because you're gonna kink and crack your filament if it has any brittleness.
Yeah, with that at 380, that's the highest I'd even consider.
Yeah.
Until I get that raised up higher. Once it's raised up higher, then yeah, I could totally see it going.
I mean, my one complaint with all these lower price printers is the spool holder options are
look at the paint on the front of it, where the filament rubbed the paint off of the bracket.
Oh my god! Wow.
Oh man,
that's just wrong.
Okay, so get that out.
All right, I'll be getting the link to you guys. Sorry, the internet over here is a little slow.
Oh, come on.
I meant connected? On my phone.
Connect to the Wi-Fi.
I'll connect to the Wi-Fi in a minute. All right, let me get the link out to all you happy people in the chat.
I just pretty scene of the dragon. The dragon.
Okay,
link I need to learn how to talk like Kyle does whenever he does that.
Oh gosh,
the red dragon.
Bitwit.
Yes, that guy's hilarious. Man.
He's great. I liked it when you posted up the thing about Kyle's part, and I said, "So where's Lyle?"
Dude, that's just insane. And there's only one part of it that failed. See right there?
Yeah,
it's the only part.
That's impressive. So is there supposed to be like a wing piece right there?
No.
Oh.
I don't understand why it did that there, but this right here just loops where it's bridging over because there's no support.
Yeah. Still, that is impressive. Especially considering you scaled it up so big.
And you can see right up in here, there's no salmon skin to it either.
Wow. I'd love to see some other stuff that has infill, but that's impressive.
Yeah, I'm going to be definitely doing more prints with it. I wanted to do a really long print. That was 34 hours and 21 minutes.
Wow.
It finished up today while I was at work. And so Beth came over and took a picture and sent it to me.
So Mr. Carroll Science is asking, has anybody heard of Sunlu Filament? Started following me and kept posting looking for filament testers. I think I've heard of them. I've never run their stuff before.
I never have either.
I'm not going to say it is or it isn't, but I almost wonder if it's just yet another eSun sublet rebrand. Or similar. I don't know.
Could be.
Because the problem is,
I wouldn't mind trying it. I'm not above it.
Same here. Send me some. I'm interested. Yeah, they followed me too. They want to send me some, ship to my mailing address.
On Twitter?
Yeah.
I had somebody follow me today and I didn't even pay attention to who it was. Let's see. Yep.
Yep.
That's who it was.
No, yeah.
They haven't sent me any messages or anything, so. They said, I am them on Twitter for info. Oh, sweet.
Cool.
I'd like to try some different filaments just to see what's out there.
For sure. I was going to ask, do you have any ABS lying around? Because I want to try doing ABS on a 10M just to say that
Do I have ABS around? Actually, I do.
Okay.
I think it's in my mom's house. When we go back up there, I'll grab it.
Okay. Because I was curious if you had any ABS and PETG, because I want to say that I've tried those on the bed, because I know if I've only done NGen and PLA, somebody's going to go, why don't you try ABS? Why don't you try PETG? And I'll be like, well, now I did.
I know we've got a roll of that. Remember that one that we
That
tried?
pinkish that we tried with the boat?
Yeah. I know we got that around somewhere.
Okay. I'm just curious because I want to be able to, because I feel bad I haven't gotten the review on the A10M out, but at the same time, I haven't really had as much time as I had wanted to use it because life all of a sudden just went.
Did you see what I've got down there?
I sent Ashley a photo of that. She's already drilling over it.
Is she?
Oh, yeah. She really, really, really. Should I say this out loud? Yeah, I will say it out loud. You know what she really wants them to send me?
What?
An A30 so I can do like giant prints on it.
I mean, like that one?
Yeah, like that one. That one right there.
A30 is pretty nice.
Yeah. Well, the thing I like is that super plate.
And now that I've already put the A30 against the TiVo Tornado.
Mm-hmm.
And the TiVo Tornado, to me, just the print quality on it just isn't as good as what the A30 does. The next thing I got to do is I got to put the A30 up against this one here, the Sidewinder.
The Sidewinder and A30 have the same build volume?
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, no. Actually, the A30 has a bigger build volume. It's a 320 by 320 by 420.
I was going to say, it looked 420. A little bit... I was only curious because I'm not up for it tonight. And I don't feel like digging the filament out of my car right now, but I will need to use the A30 probably in the next 2 weeks to make up a custom rail car. But I was thinking that would be a good one because I'll do it on my channel, do a time lapse of it, to print it in the NGen. But that's going to be a good weekend project. Come down on like a Thursday night, crank that thing out because I have the Formbot in the car. I'm like literally this close to getting it going, but then I had some issues with school and some other stuff came up, and that's my mom just saying, "Congratulations, you made it to Jimmy's." So I ran to, I mean, the thing is getting close, but since it does have the 120 volt heated bed and I've run into some wiring issues just trying to route everything, I'm like, I'm not going to rush this thing. I've had way too much time invested in this. I'm just going to hold off and then I'll work on it when I get up here and get settled and everything like that. So that's the reason why I haven't got it going, which I really wanted to get it going. But you know what? I just figured I'm not going to rush it because I know if I rush it, I'm going to screw something up and I'm going to regret it.
Yeah.
You know, especially with that 120 volt bed, I'm just like, my dad's like, what's 120 volts? I'm like, because a bed that size would need a power cord at least the size of your thumb at 12 to 24 volts. And it would just take forever to heat up.
Yeah.
If ever to heat up. So, I mean, as much as they're somewhat of a safety hazard, I do like the higher voltage beds because you're not trying to push as many amps through it.
Yeah. That's actually one of the things I do like about this one and with that is they've got the 110 volt beds.
If it's done properly, it's safe.
No, the TiVo does not have the 100 and they do not have the 110.
Wow.
I don't think.
Because the heat up time with a mains outlet is much faster and I feel much more efficient because you're not taking a bunch of voltage and then dropping it to up the amperage.
Right.
You're just taking it straight from the wall and dumping it in there. So, but yeah, no, it's interesting.
Yeah, it is.
VV3D, it would take 3 or 4 ever to heat up. Yeah.
This one here heats up really fast. That's one thing I do like about it. I like the fact that all the electronics are self-contained. I have that extra box.
That's the one thing I don't like about this is the external box. But you know what? How much is the A30 again?
A30 is not bad, actually. The A30, I want to say, is
I think it's comparable.
300 and something, isn't it?
I think it's comparable to like a CR10. I know it's blasphemous that I even mentioned that name. Dude. What the heck is heat printing?
Like butter. Love the new nozzle. So he just picked up a new...
Micro Swiss?
No. This one's a hardened steel nozzle that they have on Amazon.
Uh-huh.
He picked that up, and he loves it.
Oh, nice.
He printed that piece there.
Ooh.
That's on the A10. I keep telling him, Josh, start a sneaking YouTube channel. Do it.
I know.
You have
Even
to
if it's
see-
just time lapses.
You have to see some of the stuff he paints.
Mr. Carroll Science, watching a live stream with 2 guys on their phones. Well, my mom keeps texting me, all right? Sorry, that's not my fault.
It's all Mrs. Witt's fault.
I can totally get away with it right now. 'Cause she's sorry, Mom.
She's gonna beat you up.
Oh, gosh.
Try to find one of his. He paints models.
Oh,
He does
nice.
a really good job of painting too.
So, yeah, no, the thing is, Ashley does not own a 3D printer right now, but she's wanting to get into 3D printing. So for the meantime, I'm using the A10M to do some like Dungeons and Dragons and Magic the Gathering, like, you know, like dice holders and things like that. And the really cool thing is she discovered all the colors Protopasta sells.
Oh wow!
And I'm looking at this because she was showing me some of the D20 dice that are kind of like a green and blue or like a purple and gold. And then she was looking at Protopasta and she's like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. So what I'm probably going to do is go through there and order up like one of each color of the samples. And then what I'm thinking of doing with the mixer, because I kind of feel guilty I haven't used the mixer very much, but this is a good thing because there's what are called dice prisons where people put their dice. So I'm thinking the bottom of it will be one color and the lid will be the second color, but I'll tell it to just color transition up to the second color for the top lid.
Yeah.
That would look A, really cool, and B, show the capabilities of the mixer. So I need to get that on order. So I've decided I'm probably going to have to postpone the A10M review for about a week or two. I'll get some other stuff out in the meantime. But I feel like that's a really good way to not only plug what will become her Etsy store, but also show the capabilities of it. Because I feel bad that all I've done is ragged on the mixing head because it doesn't work on what I wanted to do, but I haven't really used it as intended. So, I mean, the one thing I will say, guys, if you're looking at an A10 or A20M, keep this in mind. If you're just going to use it as a single color printer, don't buy it for that. If you're going to use it as a mixing printer to make custom colors or do the transitions, it's actually pretty darn good at that. So I might even get my Simplify 3D profile video out before that and say I've got the review coming soon, but I figured I might as well get this out so you guys can use it because some people were just coming up with some wacky numbers, and I was able to get the retractions down to like 5 millimeters with Coast and Wipe. And with slowing the head down, I was able to get, except for like filament that's just naturally a little more oozy, I was able to get those dice towers printing really crisp, as you saw.
Yeah. Which
is really impressive.
Did you bring one with you?
No, I've got a photo in my phone. I know. Like, I gave them all to her, and then we ended up designing our own just because we liked the design, but then we decided we were going to make something a little better. But here, I posted it up to my Twitter, but that is what I'm talking about.
Show them. They're the ones that need to see that. That thing prints good.
Is what I'm talking about. And those posts are about 1/8 of an inch, maybe 0.15 in diameter. So they're not very big.
Yeah.
But the one trick I found was doing the cool head, was using the slowing the print down for those little parts. Because if you try doing it really fast, they turned out really brittle. They didn't turn out very good, but just slowing it down reduced the pressure in the nozzle, and it could do the retractions without any issue. But we ended up making one, the bottom of one in Joel's High Five Blue.
Yeah.
That stuff is nuts. It's actually a really nice color. I was impressed because her parents got her like the Maker Box thing, I think for at least like a 6-month subscription. Yeah. And it turns out right when they got it was when Joel's curated box was in that thing. So she got like 3D gloop sample, all kinds of filament samples. And I'm like, say what?
Oh, were you needing to print something?
Yeah, that was the thing that I was saying. I'm not up for it tonight, probably. I might, depending upon when I leave, set it up on the 30, but we'll see. Because I need
set up on that one if you want.
Well, I need to use a 0.3 nozzle instead of a 0.4.
Oh.
Yeah, and that one's got the volcano style hot end, so that won't work. And I don't know if the length of it would work. So yeah. Mr. Carroll Science said samples would be great for dice. Yeah. In this case, it's the little dice prisons that I showed, but you can print one with about 40 grams of filament if you're careful. And especially if you're doing the mix all the way up, you can get away with less. So I need to hit up Keg and see what I can do. But I did suggest to him that you should have an option for just ordering a slightly cheaper, like all the metals filled, all the carbon fiber filled, or all the colors, or all the opaques. So that way you just pick one thing and they go, whoop, and then you just drop it all in a box and mail it. Because I mean, at $4 a sample though, it's really not a bad price for their samples. And it's really nice that they do that, because a lot of companies don't do that, and it's frustrating.
Yeah.
Because I'd love to spend $4 on a sample, even though I know it probably works out to be a really crappy rate if I were to buy more. But the idea is I can either, some of them I can even buy up to 125 or 250 grams on just like a loose coil, which is nice. So that way, if you don't really need a whole lot of something, you can buy that and use that versus buying like a whole roll of copper or bronze or brass. You can just get what you need to experiment with, or if you're not going to use it very much.
Mr. Carol Science, I want to do a giveaway to help increase subscribers. Need 850 more. Thinking of a 3D pen. What do you think? Hey, that's not a bad idea.
It's not a bad idea. I'll put it this way. I'll see what I can come up with. I don't have access to all of my fun toys at this point, but I'll see what I can come up with that I can throw in there to help you out, because I'd be more than happy to do that. See what we can maybe throw in the mix.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously you don't want to make shipping atrociously expensive on something, but if you can offer more options, it's never a bad thing.
Yeah, I got to start putting together a giveaway. Let's just put it this way. I already had a talk with one of my favorite 3D printer companies.
Oh,
I don't know who that could be.
Oh, geez. Oh, wow. I don't know.
So they actually already offered a printer for the giveaway.
Okay.
For when I hit 10,000 subscribers.
High five to that dude.
Wait till you hear which one.
A30. A10M. Nice. They're really trying to push the A10.
The A10M's actually, it's not a bad printer at all.
No.
It's just I think the newer ones are being shipped with the wrong E-step settings.
Again.
And I think what it is, it's because I think they tried to push that newer Marlin out. And I think that's what's kind of caused it.
The interesting thing is, because Chris was from Practical Printing, DM'd me and asked me like what the steps per millimeter was. And I think I said like 436.83 or something in that range. I said anything around the 430, 440 range, it's going to be so close. It's not really going to make much difference. And
let me ask you this. Do you think it's because they went with the geared extruder compared to just the normal extruder? Where if they would have went with the normal extruder, it would have been the 350 or whatever?
Normal extruder is lower than that, because the geared extruder, it's got to spin a whole lot more.
Okay.
But the advantage of the geared extruder is it has so much torque. I actually had a clog happen, true story, a clog happen on one of my nozzles, and it was literally powerful enough. The geared extruder was powerful enough without like grinding the filament to death that it actually ripped the PTFE tubing. I mean, ripped it out of the brass coupling. Okay, so the brass coupling probably wasn't of the highest quality, but still, it literally had enough force to rip the tube out, which it takes a lot of force to do that. Yeah. Literally ripped it and the blue part out and the metal part out and damaged the metal part beyond repair. It literally ripped it out and was just like coiling filament. And I walked back in the room like, nah. Thankfully, a little bit of detective work with a pair of calipers and a thread gauge later, I figured out the correct connectors, but that was a little bit annoying, but you know what? It happens.
Yeah.
And then Ashley felt really bad because she was trying, because one of the I don't know what it is. Sometimes the plugs on the top get stuck. You're trying to pull the filament out. She was trying to do that to clear a clog and actually accidentally broke it off. I'm like, don't worry about it. It happens.
Yeah.
So I just took it easy out and whoop, popped it right out. And then I bought like a pack of both style of connectors off Amazon, and that was the end of that. So 2 days later and it was back up and running, but I felt bad because she wanted to bring it with her to Big Bear because I loaned her the printer for a week. She got a lot of printing done with it and really enjoyed it. She wanted to bring it out to Big Bear, but then we had a clog happen and a couple of other things. So that kind of put the kibosh on that, but
yeah,
it happens. I mean, despite the problems I had with it out of the box with the metal, the things that made no sense were the metal bed clips to hold down the heated bed that had the double stick tape. I think that was just the factory people being lazy on that end.
Yeah.
Don't know why that was the case, but I think that pretty much came to an end at this point because I don't see people commenting about that. The E-steps being off by about 20% was, I mean, it worked, but it was kind of annoying.
That one was off a lot. It was at 350, I want to say. And I think I have it cranked up to 475, but I need to go back through and do it again.
I can, if you want, tomorrow I can fire it up and I can, because I'll have to find out from my landlady what time works for me to come on over, but I can fire it up and mathematically calculate the steps per millimeter and do it the right way if you want.
Okay.
So
just use the dial. You don't have to hook it up to the
I'm not gonna hook it
computer.
up to USB.
Okay.
I just did that because
You wanted to make it difficult. Come on.
if you don't hit store settings when
my
you're done,
He goes in. So that when you go and you put in M whatever value, and you do this and you do that, and it's like, just turn the dial. Just make it hard.
like I said, I'm trying to teach people how to use the command line though, because there's certain things that you can only do through the command line, like PID tuning and whatnot.
Actually, no, because you can actually do PID tuning on that too.
You mean you can do PID auto tune?
Mm-hmm.
Didn't know that. Okay, mind you, I'm used to the Ultimaker that runs like ancient firmware and an ancient board at this point. So there's a lot of things, but at the same time, I do want to try and teach people how to use the command
There
prompt.
is something wrong with that BV3D. There is something wrong with it. He's so precise. He doesn't want to design in millimeters. He wants to do it in inches. Okay, so that's going to be 3/64 of an inch. What? And then he'll send me a model, and it's like, that's small. Well, you got to size it up. To what?
I'm used to this magical program called Simplify 3D that just goes boop and auto scales it. None of this Cura crap of I'm just gonna drop it in there at the original size.
Yeah, he does all of his design work in inches. He will not do it in millimeters.
Okay, I actually did a little bit of design work in millimeters, and it was torture. When I
It's torture.
When I was designing,
It goes by tens.
When I was designing Danielle's lightsaber on live stream on New Year's Day, I actually did that in millimeters, and it was. I actually made the thing so big I had to go back and scale it down. It was like this big around, and I'm like, oops.
It goes by tens. It's super easy.
I know. It's just getting my brain to work around the dimensions is hard.
So 10 millimeters is 1 centimeter.
I know that.
10 centimeters, it's just kind of, yeah.
Yeah. But the thing is, though, it's knowing the scaling in real life. It's like I know an inch in my head. I don't know 1 centimeter in my head as well.
Ugh.
Sorry.
Yes, inch users are weird. I agree. I was talking with Josh today about getting a millimeter or getting a metric tape measure. What's so funny about that? Okay, think about this, especially when I'm around tires. Think about this. All tires are P metric, okay, for the most part, until you get up into the 4-wheel drive America type trucks, that
them things.
They use 35-inch tall tires by 12.5 inches wide by 16 inches tall, on the wheel.
Oh, yeah.
Or P metrics are like a 235 is 235 millimeters wide. And then 70 is 70% of the width is your height on the sidewall. And then, of course, 16-inch rim.
Teresa, I got Joel a metric tape measure. Oh my god.
That's cool. That's cool.
Now Teresa wants
Look
to get
at him.
me
He's cringing. He's literally cringing during the stream. He's actually got a cold sweat going on. He's like, ugh. No.
No.
He's going through inch withdrawals.
I'm going through a literally can't even right now. That's what I'm going through.
Can't even.
Literally can't even right now. Nope.
Can't even.
Need my Dr. Pepper. Where's my Dr. Pepper at? Literally can't even without it.
I got Coke.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, I need that. Inch withdrawals.
Yeah, I got 6 fingers on each hand. I just don't show it on camera. I don't want to freak nobody out.
Still can't believe that stupid power strip died on me. I'm glad it was a power strip. I actually need to plug that into the wall and make sure it's working, so I don't go to bed at night worrying about it.
Yeah. Elon's saying he's seriously never seen a tape measure that doesn't have inch, metric, and imperial that isn't for sewing.
I've got a ruler. I've actually got 2 rulers that are.
Yeah, well, that's like every freebie ruler has inches and centimeters, so they don't annoy both people.
It's not a freebie.
I didn't say this one was. I meant like all the little 4 and 6 inch ones that you can get at events. Yeah, those.
Where does my big one go? I think my big one's in the house up there. I've got a big one that I bought when I very first got into 3D printing. First thing I did is I went out and bought one that's like that long, and it's a blue one. I think it's pretty cool.
Somewhere I think I might have left it at home because I didn't need it. I had a 18-inch metal ruler with the cork on the back.
Yeah. Definitely come in handy.
Oh, yeah. What I do if I'm just cutting something so the X-Acto knife doesn't get in the way is actually just flip it over so I can get it clean cut. So if I'm just scoring to snap.
If somebody ever messes with you, it's got that sharp enough edge where you can like, ah!
Yeah, it'll hurt.
That would cut. That would cut.
Yeah, definitely.
You whack somebody with that.
Yeah.
In both ways. You can whack them and you can whack them.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah!
Stream just went really dark. Oh, man. This is bad.
Imperials is very handy in construction. Provided you don't get down to the 5/16 and yeah, that's the part where I lose it. It's like, okay, now where I just mark it with a pencil, on my tape measure. I just gotta go to that line.
Pretty much. That's
Calvin got whacked.
Oh my gosh. This is so bad.
The metric you weigh half the they are longer. Oh goodness.
Oh, this is bad. I hope this helps my watch time, but this is bad. I feel bad about the watch time because the last few days I was really hoping to get some videos pushed out and just things did not go according to plan. So that's why I've got the gap, but it happens. And the thing is, I've got videos that are part edited on my hard drive. I just didn't have time to finish them. So I'm like, you know what? Getting up here takes precedent over that.
Speaking of hard drives, I gotta put my new hard drive in the computer.
Oh, how big?
3 terabyte.
Nice. When I was over at Fry's a couple weeks ago with Ashley, I saw a 4 terabyte, just like a generic Seagate or Western Digital for like $90. And I'm like,
yeah, this one's a 3 terabyte Barracuda by Seagate.
nice.
So it should be pretty decent.
I just use like the Western Digital Blues because the thing is, I only use my hard drive when I need to. The rest of the time, it just sits idle. So shelf life wise, it might be a 4-year-old hard drive, but runtime wise, it might only be 3 months of use.
Well, I want to go with the 7200 because I'm needing to use it for the video editing.
Right.
Because I can't put that all on that SSD.
No.
I did put an SSD on this, so it makes it a whole lot better.
SSDs are nice.
Yeah, it's just that there's because the hard drive is an older hard drive that's in it. The trying to process videos and all that just turns into a mess.
Yeah, I mean, trying to edit, especially with modern video editing software, it's kind of a pain if you don't have a really powerful computer.
See, Wellbot's in the house.
What's up, Wellbot?
What's up? What's up?
Yeah. Oh man. No, yeah, it's even on my laptop, the problem is trying to keep up with all the NVIDIA updates. Some of the NVIDIA updates don't seem to get along very well with Windows 10. Yeah. So DaVinci will be really stable, and then all of a sudden it'll just kind of freeze up, and then the laptop will go into an NVIDIA driver crash, and I'll go back and check the stuff, and it's all up to date, but there's nothing I can do about it.
Well, I've got what is it, 1050 Ti?
That's what mine has.
I think that's what I got in this one as a processor, is the Oh, my brain's shot, dude.
GTX 1050 Ti.
Yeah, I got one of those in it, and I actually have it overclocked. And so with what is it? The this one right here. What's it called? Oh, come on.
Cyberlink Power Director.
Yeah, Power Director. Whenever I use it, it actually has hardware acceleration to it, and so it'll utilize the GPU in order to up the processing time. Sometimes when there's a update for the driver, if I don't download the update and put it on there, it will not use the GPU for the hardware acceleration. It just stops doing it. So I have to update the hard drive or the driver, and then it'll work the next time I restart the computer.
What about saying laptop NVIDIA drivers are finicky? Often you have to update the Intel driver first. Yeah, but I'll tell it to look for the Intel driver update, and it'll say it's all up to date.
Yeah.
So I just think guys got to remember the laptop is getting to be a couple of years old. I'm not saying that it's bad or anything. It's just, I think the problem is it's just compatibility issues, and it's really frustrating because it's a good laptop, but if it can't stably, I mean, it can decently stably run Resolve, but it's still kind of frustrating when you're like partway through and it just kind of freezes and you're like, but the old one didn't do that.
Yeah.
So I get by with it, but it's really annoying because I don't have $1,500 or $2,000 to drop on a new computer, and you can't really upgrade a laptop. And who's to say within a couple of years you wouldn't have the same problem because compatibility issues and all that crap. So
yeah.
I do what I can. I need to talk to DaVinci and see if I can, because the thing is I used to have 14 on there, and then for some reason I upgraded to 16, and now I can't download 14 again. But I'll see if I can get them to send the link for the 14 demo download. If I need to, I'll just buy the $200 unlock for it and go that route if I really have to. But 14 was really stable. 16's less stable.
Yeah.
So I'll see what I can do, but it kind of sucks. Yeah. Long story short, I do need a laptop for school though, and I don't really have room in where I rent at for a desktop as well. So I'm kind of stuck in that one well. But that's honestly the reason why for the longest time I was kind of iffy about getting a laptop, just because they seem to have a lot more issues than a desktop, and you can't easily upgrade them either. It's not like you just pop the side cover off and pop something new in there and go. So it's kind of like,
yeah,
they are what they are. And I'm not, downplaying the generosity of the very gracious person who helped me get that. And it's really been helpful, but it's kind of sad when after a couple of years, technology progresses so fast that what you had doesn't really work anymore, and you're kind of forced into getting a new one. That's the annoying part.
Well, if it was Apple, you'd totally expect it, but it's Windows.
It's Windows, and it's Asus ROG at that. So, I mean, it still plays games and stuff fine, but I think I also just need to go through and clear out the hard drives because they're just choked up with crap, which might not be helping.
I love all the cell phone carriers. It's not just Apple. All of the different carriers, the different manufacturers will take and have updates that they push to your phone, and it just slowly kills your phone. And it's the same way with computers. They slowly but surely kill your computer because they just make it obsolete.
Yeah, no, and that's the point I'm trying to make is it's not like, well, the other thing is then they stop pushing updates for it, and then it becomes a virus risk and and it's just like.
Let me ask you this: on your laptop, does it have an SSD or does it have
SSD for the main drive? It has an SSD. For the storage drive, it has a 1 terabyte hard drive, and then I use an external drive to store all my footage from edit from.
Check the life on your SSD to see where it's at.
No, but I should do that
because it could be come to the end of its write cycles.
Okay.
Yeah, which if that's the case, then it just needs to be swapped out.
Good to know. Yeah, I need to go through. I do have a lot of.
It's all the porn. That's exactly what it is. It's all the porn, and it's all the cookies and the extra stuff that they like to put in there. Because in porn they really like to pack it in there. Really ram it in there, and they put all kinds of stuff on your hard drive, man. I've
heard, not that I've had it happen, but I've heard that unscrupulous websites will actually, while you're on there, try and use your computing power for like Bitcoin mining, because then they can effectively, like, in the background, I'm like, what? Yeah, BV3D. my gosh. Thanks for killing it. Thanks a lot.
I misread Theresa's comment there. She said Dodge G code. I thought she said Doggy G code. Calvin, what kind of videos have you been watching?
Oh my gosh. Oh geez, yeah.
Oh goodness.
Oh, this is so bad. Oh, why did I agree to do a live stream?
Hey, you know, I came in like, kill it, I'm almost there. And then you came in here, you killed my soldering iron, so I couldn't solder no more, so we could do this.
Yeah, I totally figured out where the circuit breaker was. Oh, sorry. Oh,
He likes it rough.
oh my gosh. I give up.
Calvin likes to run the long train.
Oh, you guys are killing me right now. I give up.
What's that for their artistic value?
Oh, this is so bad. So bad.
That was good.
Oh man.
I was planning on doing so much indie window tonight. I had it all planned too. I'm like, I'm gonna really stick my tip in this thing. Ram it in there, you know, get it nice and clean. Did you see that little thing?
Yeah.
Looks like a little Brillo pad.
That's probably what it is.
Honestly, it's one of those that's for scrubbing.
Yeah, no, I actually 3D printed one of these and got one at the dollar store, and it works really good. I actually got the ones that are like more like they're almost like the chain mail ones. Those are nice because you can really scrape the tip along there, and it really cleans it off good versus this like stick it in there and move it around and no.
Notice the motion. Somebody please screen cap that. Make a meme. Put it over on Twitter.
Here's why your soldering station died. It was protesting you using soldering without any flux.
That's built into the solder.
No, you gotta do a Louis Rossmann. So while you're like just drowning the thing in flux, yes, you can buy this flux at store.rossmanngroup.com. I'm just gonna use like half a syringe on here.
The bigger the glob, the better the job.
Here's my take on him doing the over solder though. Yes, with the excess flux. Yes, having a bit of flux in there is a good idea, but you just hit a point where it's just wasteful, and it can actually cause more problems than it solves. But then again, when you look at the things that he gets in there, sometimes it's like, yeah, you know what? That just makes sense.
He does it to clean it, though.
I know.
That's what a lot of he uses it for, is for cleaning it.
Oh, I know. He'll just pretty much slather a whole board in it. But it makes sense when you look at the thing and it's just been destroyed by some professional somewhere else.
The reason is have you kids trained well? And what's funny is I got Josh into watching them now.
Watching who?
Rossmann.
Oh gosh.
I sent him one of the videos the other day. Now he's sending me videos. Did you see this one?
Elon, don't delay. Buy today at store.rossmanngroup.com. PV3D, classically train with a train. Yes. Totally.
Oh, man.
I do need to work on
What was the one the other day? There's one that he sent me. And it had to do with an Apple laptop being too cold to function properly. He says, because it's not in hell. It has to be hot to run properly.
The one thing I will say that's interesting about my old GoPro, though, is if it drops below like about 50 to, if it drops around like 40 degrees or so,
yeah,
I think it might be partly the battery. It actually will not turn on. So I'll have to hold the thing in my hand for like a couple of minutes to get it to warm up. And then it fires up and runs just fine. but it's weird. It does not like the cold, but my cheapo cameras, they don't care.
Yeah.
It's weird. So whatever.
Oh, it's an extra nozzle.
Oh. Yeah, those are a good idea.
Yeah.
So wait, does the Artillery 3D actually have a volcano style hot end on it?
What's that?
Does the Artillery 3D have a volcano style hot end?
Yeah. I just confirmed it with him last night because I was asking him, or actually the night before, I sent a message and asked, because I was printing with this, I said, you know, so whenever the time comes, I wear the nozzle out. What type of nozzle is it? And they said it's a volcano style.
That does make sense though on a larger machine like that to have a volcano style nozzle so you can print faster.
Did you notice it's a direct drive?
Yeah. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Personally, okay, me on geared versus direct drive. I used to have direct drive on the Ultimaker and it worked okay, but once I switched to a geared, I actually found I could get better precision on prints and you could print faster because you now had more torque, especially with 2.85 filament to push it through. So yeah, the stepper had to spin faster, but because of the gear reduction, you could actually drop, you didn't have to do micro stepping anymore. You could do full steps and you'd still get really good precision, especially with tiny nozzles.
Even I'll just remind Jimmy of his shortest stream, which actually contains spooch. That was funny. It was straight in the trash bag. It's like a 3-minute video.
Oh my god.
That was hilarious.
Yeah, Teresa, that okay. I'm what I'm gonna say is not because I'm out for blood with anybody, but this is literally what happens. Is it okay if I tell them the story about Artillery with the printer?
That's up to you.
Okay,
It's your channel.
I just didn't know if you were okay with me dragging you into the middle of this because all you did was introduce me. So here's what happens: is yesterday I'm over at Ashley's house and we're busy laser cutting, and I get this message from Jimmy. Hey, do I'm going to introduce you to Artillery 3D. They're kind of looking for people to do a printer. I'm like, yeah, sure, why not? What the heck? What's the worst that can happen? They say no. And then sure enough, I send them the link to my channel. They're like, yeah, thanks. We're looking for somebody a little more popular. And then the funny thing is, Ashley's like, well, wait, aren't they the same people that like Angus like pretty much blocked for spamming him and whatnot? She goes, that's really stupid on their part. I'm like, yeah, but I ain't going to fight with them. If they don't want to send me a printer, I don't care. You know, I mean, will I do a review on Jimmy? Probably, just to snub them. But at the same time, it's like if they don't feel like sending me one, I'm not gonna get like, you didn't send me a printer, you suck.
That's one of the reasons why I've always been very partial to G-Tech, because they're the first company that ever took a chance with me.
Yeah,
you know, they're the only ones at the very beginning that even talked to me. You know, I purchased my first printer without, you know, just cold turkey. Just bought it, used it.
Which one was that? The Aluminum i3?
Yeah, Aluminum i3. And then the next one I got was this one, which they gave me a small discount. It was like maybe a 10 or 20% discount on it.
Oh, nice.
And then after that, that's when they were like, okay. And then they started helping me out that way.
I mean, G-Tech, if you guys are watching this, I feel really, 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 really guilty. I really haven't done very many videos with the A10M.
As you should.
I do, and I feel really bad about it because the thing is, I used it a lot, but the problem is, I literally
But you're not filming it.
Because the problem is I had it sitting next to my bed and it looked really bad on camera.
So?
I don't like putting out garbage quality time.
That's why God made crop. Just crop the video.
I tried doing that and it didn't. I tried cropping it and it actually did not work because my quality was not high enough on the time lapse.
Man.
Yeah, I know. It was all kinds of disaster. But when I get back up there and I get set up, I'm definitely going to start cranking out stuff with it. Because the problem is the other day when I went to go film the review video on it, my light was literally flickering at the same rate the camera was. So it literally looked like I was filming with a strobe light.
Man.
It was just all kinds of bad. And I'm just like, I was like really frustrated when that happened because I really, really wanted to get the video out at that point. And then that happened and I'm just like, I can't put this out. This looks like garbage.
BV3D says the only time the only time companies send in printers is when he pays for them. Honestly, that's the best way if you can afford it. That is absolutely the best way. When you can't afford it, the next best thing is to be completely honest. And You can go back on my videos with some of the G-Tech printers even, and hey, this does not work.
And I'm definitely, I mean, what I've decided I'm going to do with my review is I'm going to just have like because the problem is, I feel like most review videos, when you really start to get into the nitty gritty details about things, they get so long. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a quicker overview video, but I'm going to have sub videos talking about the hot end, the mixing hot end, talking about the super plate, and then talking about the issues and the remedies. So that way, if people want to do that stuff,
you better look it up really quick.
Look what up.
Just tweeted the meme of you guys.
Oh gosh.
Look it up. Go ahead. I want to see your finger in that thing.
You suck. You so suck. No. This is what it is.
The bigger the blob, the better the job.
We're talking flax here. Yeah, JC. Actually, that's one thing I'm going to do is I am going to go and get myself a desk lamp. Another idea I have is to actually make, using some aluminum from the hardware store and some printed parts, actually 2 light rails that go into.
Robert says, I take reviews with a grain of salt when a printer is given to reviewer. Honestly, that's correct.
I'm not going to name.
That's the reason why, if you notice, I don't do review videos very much.
I hate
what
that
I
word.
do is I will take a printer, I'll unbox it, and then I'll use it. And then whenever I print with it, I always just do videos with it. And then if I have a problem with the printer, I show how to fix it.
Yeah.
Which that right there starts telling you, okay, he's having to work on this printer an awful lot.
Or it like goes poof on live stream, and that's, you know. No, honestly though, I do agree though. I mean, I'm not going to name any names here. I'm not saying that they're being dishonest, but I feel like some people gloss over major issues on a machine more than they should. And it's really, really frustrating because there's things that will be mentioned in a review, but then they won't say the pros and cons. So that's one thing I'm going to do in the video is probably have at the end like a pro and con list of the printer and say pro, low cost, mixing head's really cool, super plate's awesome, and big community to help you. Con, mixing head can be a problem if you're running it 1 color at a time. Did have issues with wrong E-steps on machine out of the box. Did have issue with heated print bed that was quickly solved through tech support. And that's that. So that way people can very quickly see the rundown of the pro versus the con. Yeah. And there's your answer. And I leave the decision up to the final person. But I mean, as much as I love the mixing head can also be a pain. So right. there's that given that take in there that I feel like is worth mentioning, because a lot of people go, oh my gosh, you can do mixing. And I'm like, yeah, it's great, but you have to use it as a mixing machine, or you have to use it as a dual color machine. And even then you got to be careful, because sometimes you can get bleed in from another color. Like when I tried doing support prints with it, I was actually having the PVA or poly support mixing with the PLA and actually screwing up my layer bonding, even when I was running a lot of purge. It was really annoying.
I'm guessing the PUFA was the ANET that tried to kill Jimmy. I never tried an ANET. You must be referring to the Zone Star.
The ANET's brother.
Now that one definitely put some sparks out.
So Red Light 34 is saying, how is everyone? Is $100 too much for an ANET A8? I wouldn't touch one for $100. I wouldn't even touch one for free. I'm sorry. That's just me though. Everybody's different.
Here's the thing: for $100, at least you got a start on parts.
True.
You could take and upgrade the board. You could upgrade the power supply, but then once again, then you start looking at how much money do you want to spend to upgrade a printer to make it safe whenever you can buy a printer out of the brand new in the box that's already going to be fairly safe.
Elon's saying $5 is too much for an ANET. BV's going, that's too much. Honestly, the reason why I say I wouldn't touch an ANET with the 10-foot pole is because I don't get why people...
Because you like your house?
Yes, because I don't get why people still buy them. I mean, like Nathan said, $100 is great for a frame to start with. Yes, you can do that, but here's the thing. At the end of the day, I don't want to have anything to do with a machine that has a known history of literally spontaneously combusting. I'm sorry. I don't even want to be associated with having that thing near me, because then people go, oh, well, Calvin had one. No, I might have had one and the thing might have been a fire hazard and I set it up in a field and let it go off, but I'm not going to have that there. I'm sorry.
Even
I'm just
the
not going to do that.
TiVo Tarantula had to put one of those on it.
A MOSFET board.
Otherwise, it would have done the same kind of a thing.
Yeah, no. You know,
I got one extra one, and I have it here in case I ever get another printer
that needs
to where
one.
it's like, okay, I'm going to have a problem with it. I've got one on hand.
Yeah, red light. Honestly, unless you're somebody who really, 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 really knows what they're doing and is willing to put in the effort, I wouldn't even.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's too big of a risk to take. It's something that I don't recommend doing unless you really know what you're doing. Then I would say into it. But for your average person, I just wouldn't even feel comfortable recommending it.
Yeah, but like I said, it really comes down to how much money do you want to spend, how much time do you want to spend to make something safe, and how many chances do you want to take trying to find the places in the design that you need to fix.
And when you really sit down and look at it, you're buying a $100 machine plus say $100 in upgrade parts.
Yeah.
Plus your time and labor.
Now you're right
go
up
buy
to
go buy an A30 at that point.
You're at an A10. You know, an
Yeah.
A10 we get you
200.
that. You get an Ender 3.
Even.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff you can do. So in the chat a second ago, Mr. Carroll Science said, I've seen some gigantic purge blocks with mixing heads. Anybody agree? Yeah. Some of that is the palette where you have that massive purge block to make up for the fact that you're not going to precisely know where the filament is in the machine. But yeah, mixing heads definitely have a lot more purge material necessary. Mixing heads, though, work better for, say, this is something I want to do when I get my hands on something like glitter, Stardust glitter PLA from Protopasta, is actually mix a little bit in with regular non-glitter filament and create my own like mix of glitter in a print, like take some AMZ 3D black and a little bit of the glitter and do that. That's where it works better. For doing dual colors, you can do that, but you're going to have a bit of bleed over, which is annoying.
And so you saw the inside of the mind of Matt building an A8 for a kid. All his thinking is nope, 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 nope.
Yeah, no.
Oh, man.
So Mr. Carroll Science says, can anybody link me to an actual fire started by an ANET? I have heard a lot and seen pictures, but it's always a friend of a friend.
I saw one the other day, and I think it was in the 3D group on Facebook, where somebody had posted a picture of their printer when they got home, and the whole thing was just charred.
Yeah. The main problem is when stuff on the board starts to go, or the power supply goes, because in my old job, we actually had a power supply almost catch fire once.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Yeah, that's another issue too, is the Marlin firmware they're putting on those, they are turning off the thermal runaway. Thermal runaway is essentially whenever, for those that are brand new on this, if your thermistor suddenly loses contact and it's not reading a temperature, rather than just trying to heat up until it gets a temperature back, normally what will happen is Marlin will say, okay, there's an issue here. It hasn't detected it for 5-10 seconds. So it'll automatically shut off everything on the printer to protect everything. Well, these companies are turning that off. And so when it doesn't detect the temperature, all of a sudden it just starts heating up, and it just heats up until it,
or the other thing is,
turns supernova.
Well, the thing is, what it will also do is it'll detect if it thinks that, if it notices that it's dumping a lot of power into the, because I'll have this sometimes happen on the Ultimaker, it'll notice that it has to dump a ton of power into the hot end, but the temperature is not rising or the temperature is falling. If it rises above or falls below 5 degrees Celsius for a set amount of time, it'll just shut the whole printer down. Or if it detects a break from, if say it's printing at 220 degrees Celsius and all of a sudden the connection is lost and it jumps to negative 14 degrees Celsius because it sees nothing there, it sees no resistance, it'll automatically shut down. Because I had that happen on the A10M. One of the wires that ran, I think it was just a freak incident with the wire. For some reason, there was a break in the wire for the temperature sensor on it. And literally it would start to run and then it would just shut down. And then I was gently pulling the wires and I realized there was a break in the wire. So I just pulled the insulation back a little bit and soldered it up and it was good to go. But the thing was, it was intelligent enough to realize that there was an issue with the wire and it would shut the whole printer down instantly, which is weird because Chris was saying they didn't have that activated. And I'm like, well, I had a wire break for the internal wire breakage for the temperature sensor and it shut the whole printer down. Like it literally said min bed temp error, please reset machine.
Right.
So I knew that it had that in. I'd have to look at the firmware, but I'm 99% sure it has that in there because it was intelligent enough to realize something was wrong. And that's running the stock out of the box wrong eSteps firmware. It realized something was wrong and just stopped it dead in its tracks, which is annoying, but I got it fixed, so I was happy. Yeah, BV3D says thermal runaway is when the printer doesn't give up trying to heat something up. Yep. It just sits there heating it up, and it's not detecting anything. After a certain amount of time or
if I go a little bit longer trying to heat this up, the number will show back up.
When it does that for a set amount of time or a set temperature range, it just shuts down.
Yeah.
Which can be annoying if you're all fine and dandy and your fan's blowing too hard on your hot end. But
yeah, but then at least it's showing a temperature that it's trying to reach. But the thing is, a lot of times the thermistor will fall out.
Oh, yeah.
So it's not reading a temperature, and it's just like, oh, let's keep heating up.
Yeah. So Sherry Smith said, hello, all, been listening in. Most of the 3D printers you see on YouTube are really just a tinker's joy. I need printers that just work, and they are out there. FlashForge is one brand that is underrated. I personally have not worked with one, but I've heard really good things about them.
They're not an underrated printer at all. They are actually a very good printer. It's just that for the price, a lot of people don't go for it.
Yeah.
Because you're talking, what, $1,000 brand new?
Yeah.
Okay. So my friends that used to work with me at Sears, okay, they all decided they wanted to start their own toy company back when the fidget spinners came out.
Oh, geez, those things.
They quit their job to make fidget spinners. They hit it big. They were doing good. They had their own website, you know, they were really doing the marketing, you know, trying to say how this is going to take and make for people who were nervous or whatever could take and hold a job. Yeah. I wouldn't hire somebody to flip the, yeah, I'm here for a job interview. Yeah. Can you please hire me? Because, you know, yeah, I could really do this job. I sure could. No, that'd be like, what are you doing? Oh, it's my fidget spinner. It helps me cope. Okay.
You see that trash can over there? You can put it in there and come back and talk to me.
Anyway, they went and they got on this big bandwagon. They're 3D printing these things. And I told them, I said, guys, I would not quit my job for this. No. Just don't do that. We're going to make this work. We're going to make this work. So they went and the one, he already had a FlashForge. Did great prints. I mean, great prints. I saw the print quality is really good. Turns around, and once they start hitting it big, buys another FlashForge for another $1,000. Buy another FlashForge for another $1,000. So they can keep. I'm like, if you're cranking out this many, you need to see about getting them injection molded. Don't depend on the 3D printing for doing mass production.
No.
But that's what they did. And I even helped them out with my little printer because at that time I didn't have a lot of printers.
Right.
So I helped them out with as many production prints as I could. And until they got their extra printers in. Once they got their extra printers in, they were cranking them out. And then the fidget spinner craze crashed. And there they were. They had like 3 or 4 of these FlashForge printers and trying to sell them. And they're trying to sell them for like $500.
They're worth $250 at that point.
Right. And yet, brand new, they're $1,000 printer. They're a good printer, but it's just because of the price, it's hard to justify it.
So Sherry says, we use monoprice / FlashForge 300, blah, 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 blah. They just work. Our tech center has the Prusa MK printers. The main tech guy said they're way overrated. Sorry for that. No, you're fine. Honestly, I'm the same way.
I love you, Joseph Prusa. You're one of my favorite people in the whole world. But yeah, I have to agree.
I agree.
The price of it is where
you look at what
you cannot beat the build quality. Build quality wise, it's a great printer, but for the price, and that's where.
Well, how much is a Pulse at Matter Hackers for comparison? Let me look that up really fast.
Once again,
yeah, I know.
Kind of pricey for what it is.
Yeah, I'm just saying, but just for comparison.
I mean. We were at Rockland Mini Maker Fair, and one gentleman had the Prusa MK3.
Yeah. Oh,
And
geez, yeah, that's
another
overpriced.
gentleman, huh?
$1,500. No, I'm
What's the
good.
bill volume on it?
Let's see. Well, I'll rattle off what it does come with. It's $1,500.
I care less what it comes with. What's the bill volume?
I'm figuring that out.
Because that spool looks awful big next to it.
Just give me a sec. Keep talking.
Anyway, so there's a Prusa MK3 and there's a Ender 3. And we picked up a print from the Prusa machine and we picked up a print from the Ender. And you would be hard pressed to find the print the difference in the print quality. It's just
It's 250 by 220 by 215.
say again?
The pulse is 250 by 220 by 215. So that's 10 inches by 9 inches by 8.5 inches. XYZ.
And it's how much?
It is 1496.31. But you do get it with a roll of Rhino and a roll of the Carbon XE. But yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, I mean, for me, I print larger stuff, but yeah.
580 or 590 bucks.
But it does have the issue with the filament. I'm just kidding.
What was the height on that one?
Like 8.5 inches, which is
200 and something.
yeah, it was 215 on the Z. That's not even what my Ultimaker will do.
So even if you just go up to 300 millimeters tall, oh my god, dude!
I know, it's crazy.
I mean, is it made in America? Is that what their claim to fame is?
It's made it matter. It's got Matter Hackers logo on it, so
well, I know it's got Matter Hackers logo. But
I think it might be assembled in house. But
if it's built in house, I understand some of the price, but $1,400. Yeah.
No. So Sherry's saying, I've always heard people talk about build volume, but most of the things we fit print in a 6-inch cube area. Yeah, I have the Moai, and there's certain things that I wish I could print bigger, but at the same time, I tend to use it for smaller stuff. But at the same time, 6 inches is still decent. I mean, if you're printing a bunch of little like gaming pieces and stuff, I mean, I could if I had it, I could probably crank out gaming pieces all day on my Thingomatic and it wouldn't care. And that's got a really tiny like 3-inch by 3-inch by like 4 or 5-inch build volume at that.
MK3 is 250 by 210 by 210 for 800.
Wow.
And that makes it sound like a huge bargain. Then you take where's this one over here?
A10.
It's what? 230 by 230.
I think it's 220 by 220 by 260.
By 260. Okay. $199.
Yeah. My dad was asking earlier today. So wait, how much does this thing cost again? $300. Wait, what? $300? I'm like, yeah. Well, the thing is, it's not going to have the highest quality pieces on it, but it's a very capable machine for $300. You know, you might have a few out of the box issues, but
and that's the catch. You do get great support from Matter Hackers.
Yeah.
Plus, it's a company that's right here in America, so they're easily contacted.
Yeah, you call them up, you'll get a person by the third.
Just like a G-Crate. Okay. It's a massive printer, and it's what, 2,000 something?
Yeah.
Which, okay, well, it's just like with an Ultimaker. Ultimaker's what, $2,000-$3,000 depending what model you get.
Yeah.
But once again, you're getting the service that goes with it. You're getting people that are going to back it up.
You contact support and they get back to you like that. You call support, they get back to you like that.
Right. So I
mean, I think it's one of those cases of you do get what you pay for, but you also know that you're partly buying into the name brand and you're partly buying into the support. And if you're a company or something that's going to be cranking out stuff and you don't want to wrench on things all day, then it's worth it.
If you buy this, if something breaks on it, unless you can source the parts somewhere fairly local, I mean by local I mean Amazon, or eBay, you're looking at about a month to get parts for it.
I mean, it's like in the case of the connectors, I just found those on Amazon and I grabbed some. Well, we were at McMaster for an unrelated thing. I just grabbed some more tubing just because it was really cheap compared to the other stuff.
Or I would just put Capricorn tubing on it and be done with it. You know,
I thought about that, but I was like, I'm trying to watch my budget.
it's just like now. What did you ever find out about the nozzle?
M7.
It's an M7.
Yeah.
Is it what, MK7 nozzle or how?
It's M7 threading on there, metric 7mm. So that's the other thing I need to mention in the video is, as of right now, nobody but G-Tech makes a replacement nozzle for this printer. I was going to look into doing nozzles, but I never even had time to go on over to my old school to even think about doing that.
Okay. What's the nozzle size thread that you can get?
M6.
M6, which is smaller than that. Do they have an M8?
They might.
If a person could take an M8, drill that out, tap it.
It'd be really hard to tap though, because you're blind hole tapping. You'd have to take like you'd have to pretty much take your tap and start the thread, cut the bottom off, cut the bottom off. It'd be doable, but it wouldn't be super easy.
Really?
Yeah. It for what it's worth, it's just easier. I think the thing is, because it's so new, nobody's come out with a replacement nozzle. So that's the one thing that is annoying about this is I'd love to do a print with some glow in it, but I'm not going to risk blowing my nozzle out and waiting a month to get a new one from China. Although that's part of the reason why I am looking at picking up the $20 A10 hot end, so I can try doing the one where it still can do dual printing. It won't do mixing, but it has the Y splitter.
And it has the M6 on it.
And it has the M6 on it.
That's what Josh, that's what he just picked up that new nozzle and put it in there.
That's why I asked G-Tech what the threading was to make sure, because if it's M6, I'm good. And I like the mixing head, but I do want to be able to do soluble supports, and I can't do that with the mixing head. So I figure for the $20 and the time that it takes, I'm going to pick up a spare nozzle or two for this mixing head, because I figure I can always go back and pop the mixing head back in if we choose to do that. But I do want to at least test out my idea, because I think if G-Tech sees that and it works, they might consider implementing it, because they're all the same frame, and it'd be pretty simple just to put an A10 head on here and a Y splitter and just write some custom change code, and it would give people a second option for a low cost dual extrusion machine that can just do zzz, 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 like that.
No, Sherry, never.
I do agree with her though. Prusa overpromises and underdelivers. I do appreciate. Yeah, I do too.
Did he ever come out with the build plate? The what do you call it?
The PEI flex plate thing.
No, it's the one that was supposed to be powder coated.
That's the one I'm talking about.
Oh, it's supposed to be PEI?
Yeah.
I thought it was supposed to be just a powder coated one.
It was supposed to be powder coated PEI. I really don't know, but the last I've heard, there's still issues with the PEI not wanting to stick. And I think it's just the properties of Kapton, which is PEI, polyethylamine. It just does not want to stick to steel. It just does not. I mean, especially when you're in a flexing situation, you're better off just using adhesive, because the adhesive is going to have some give.
Well, I'd heard that it was like a powder coat, which I know for a fact powder coat, when you put it on any kind of a flexible, and you start moving it, it's going to separate itself from the
that's why I was saying
substrate. It's not going to stay.
That's why I'm saying you need an adhesive there, like Build Tack or something, where it has that little bit of give, where it can stretch, the adhesive can stretch and shrink, but the sheet itself stays relatively, in quotes, flat. But I still don't get why he's not doing something like the super plate, because other thing I really want to try and do is, I know when the super plate hits about 30 degrees Celsius, you can knock a print off.
Releases.
So here's what I'm thinking of doing, is actually setting the machine up so it does the print, it moves the head forwards, it pushes the head down, and then it pauses, and I tell it to, cool the bed to 30 degrees Celsius. Then it literally just pushes the print off, homing, and it's literally just starts all over again, and it literally becomes like an automatic build plate. I want to try it out, and now that I have a machine that can do that, I really want to see if it can do that, because the idea is, if a dice tower takes like an hour and a half to print, and I'm gone all day, if I can just set the thing up to literally just crank prints out once I know it's working, that'd be really cool.
Dude.
If this works, that would actually be really cool though, because I want to just see if the concept. I'm not going to.
How are you going to restart the print?
Put an M99 in there, so it just runs back to the beginning of the program, and it just keeps looping. Until you tell it to stop. So the idea is it becomes its own little mini injection molding, becomes its own little mini automated print cell. It just sits there. It might take, like I told Ashley, it might take 2 hours to do a print because it's got to cool and reheat again. But who cares if it can run itself You can get either 1 done in a day because you're gone for 8 hours, or you can get 4 done in a day while you were gone. I'd rather do 4 versus 1 and just having it sitting idle there for eons and eons and eons. So that's just kind of my thing. Protopasta, honestly, I wouldn't exactly say that they're overrated. I have bought a ton of their filament, and I've actually had them be gracious enough to send me some stuff. So I can understand why some people could say that they're overrated, but then again, when you look at the quality of what they make and what they offer with the high temperature PLA, which if you do anneal it right, it really does work. It's not overrated. It really does what it says it does.
I will compare it to a car. So I really like Cadillac.
Yeah.
I really like Ford. I really like some of the really nice Chevys. But at the end of the day, sometimes your budget keeps you to getting a Nissan.
Well, let's put it this way. It's somewhere in grandma's garage, but we have that 10-inch giant copper maker coin thing.
Yeah.
That thing, I have to thank Protopasta for sending the filament out for that. That thing was nuts. And if you look on my channel some ways back, I'll probably dig up the video and retweet it because it was so cool. Jimmy printed it on the A30 and then gave it and shipped it up to me. And this thing was heavy. It weighed like over 2 pounds. It was almost a full spool. It was like a partial. It was like almost a kilo spool, but it wasn't a full kilo, so they couldn't sell it. So they gave it to me, which was really nice.
And some odd grams, if I remember right.
It was really heavy. Then I came along, sanded the top, and tarnished it, and it looked really, really good. And yeah, I mean, honestly, though, when it comes to metal filaments, I actually prefer Protopasta metal filaments over color fab because the Protopasta prints at a higher temperature, and it's less likely to get soft when you're polishing it, while the color fab stuff prints at a lower temperature. And if you're not careful when you're sanding it, you can actually start to deform the model from the heat of sanding.
If Hyundai came out with a printer, I'd get it too. If Honda came out with one, I'd definitely get it.
Oh, heck yeah. So Ewan,
that'd be the best built printer ever.
so Ewan's saying, I wouldn't say Prusa's are overrated, more overhyped. Yeah. But then again, Prusa literally just is like Glowforge. He just spams the crap out of YouTube ads. And it gets really old after a while when you're watching a video and like every other ad is a Prusa ad. And you're like, okay, really? This
Forge.
He's getting old.
Not Flash Forge. What's that one of the resin printer? What's that one?
Not the Moai.
No, it's the
Photon?
No. One's been around for a while now.
Oh, Formlabs. Yeah.
What do they call that one?
Form 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That one, every single video I ever watch, that commercial's on there.
I usually get, I mean,
it's like, ugh.
Me and Ashley were talking Glowforge versus the K40 that we've got, the under $400 laser. And there's definitely some advantages to the Glowforge, but the thing though that makes no sense is they build a really good machine, but they didn't make it with enough room that you could do rotary engraving of water bottles or anything round.
That's one thing that back in this was years ago. This not even any time in the past few years. This has been what, probably 2006 was when I was looking into getting a laser engraver. And at that time, the cheapest one I could find was $10,000. And I forget the name of it. It started with an E. I don't think it was Epilogue, but it's something kind of like that. It might have been an Epilogue. But that thing, and it had the rotary tool, so you could take and put water bottles in it, or you put the wine glasses or whatever, and you could put the mask on it and it would etch it and all that. I mean, it was just an amazing printer, but for the price, there was no way.
No.
And since then, they actually have come up and they're offering them a whole lot less than what they used to be. But I think now you can get one for like $5,000 and they'll actually finance it.
Wow.
But it's like, nah, I just couldn't.
Well, I mean, it's like in the under four. Okay, we'll just say by the time we invested in a few better upgrades for the thing, we'll just say we're $500 into it. $500 for a laser cutter capable of cutting. It's multiple pass, but we're not cranking the laser to full power either for tube life. a $500 laser that is capable of cutting up to 1/4 inch material, and it will cut 1/8 inch material all day long, no problem, at medium power and a decent speed. Does a good job of engraving and everything like that. It's a game changer. Yes, you do have to do a little bit of work for it, and it does lack some of the out of the box features that say like Full Spectrum or something like that has. But I mean, I'm not knocking the Full Spectrum. It's a very, very nice machine, but it's way out of my price range. For the $500, I can very easily turn around and make that money back selling and doing laser cutting work for people. While with the Full Spectrum, it would take me years and years and years to earn it back in a hobby setting. Professional setting, different story, but in the hobby setting, it's great. And then being that we split the cost both ways makes it even better, because I've always wanted a laser cutter, but I didn't have the space. Ashley has laser cutting experience from school and her friend's Glowforge, which is helpful because she was able to give me some pointers because I didn't know anything. But I'm working on some laser cut building kits, and a friend had an idea. Maybe you could like set a Patreon tier so that way when you come out with a new kit thing every month, you know, that person in that tier gets that kit. And I'm like, oh, there's a thought for like some of my train stuff. Like, that's not a bad idea, because I'm trying to find ways to incorporate multiple media in there. And the other thing is there's only 2 laser cutters at school. And if they're crazy busy all the time, and I really need to get something done, and it's literally faster for me to send the files to Ashley, have her cut them out, and then ship them up priority 2 day, I will do that. Yeah. I'm serious. If it means me getting a passing grade in the class or doing good, I will do that. I don't count that as cheating. I'm just taking load off the thing. I'm still using the same technology. I'm just not the next person waiting 4 days to get on the laser cutter and the project's due in 3 days.
Yeah.
You know, that's kind of the way I see it. And I also see it as not having to be yet another person to use that machine frees it up for everybody else.
Yeah.
You know, because half the time it's like when you tell instructors, I can just do this at home, half the time it'd be like, good, because, you know what I mean? So whatever. But yeah, I wouldn't, I mean, I wouldn't totally say biased, but I do have to agree. He definitely overhyped it. But I will say when I was talking to Joe, the 3D printing professor, when we were waiting to meet Tom and we were staring at the Prusa booth, yeah, the prints he had were cool, but remember that one he picked up with like that dual color print, and then the underside just looked like total garbage?
Yeah.
From the supports. And he's like, and he even made the comment, come on, guys, really? You're trying to sell an $800 machine here with like your $200 plus MMU unit, and your print looks like this? I wouldn't buy this. Like, he just, this is Joe for you. He just says what's on his mind. And I totally agreed with him on that. It's like, if you're going to put a model out like that, don't do that, which I thought was really insulting to the Moai, when Matter Hackers had literally just like 2 prints sitting there with supports on them that weren't all that interesting. And I'm really happy that Mark from Peopoly talked to Matter Hackers and got their permission for me to bring my train models in there. Because what people said is the little train engine and the little rail car that were done on the Moai that were finished nice, people were just going bonkers over that. Every time I walked by the booth, they were all checking it out. And the thing was, if they had just had a slightly better model up there, yeah, it was a finished model. But the point was, it was showing a unique use for it.
Yeah.
And that reminds me, I need to actually work on some train models for Matt over at Printed Solid, because he's actually getting people asking about 3D printing with train stuff, because there's a lot more model train people on the East Coast than the West Coast, because they probably have basements and stuff. And I need to actually work on a couple of models that he can have in his showroom to show off to people that you can do 3D printing for model trains. Maybe show like a smaller model and a larger model, just to generic stuff, just to show, hey, here's a little building, here's a little rail car, to get people's gears turning.
Yeah. And
that whole thing. So I need to work on setting that up, but that's another thing that's, you know, kind of big. So yeah. But yeah. Do I want to go ahead and call it? It's almost 10 o'clock.
You've been on one of those really long phone conversations. And you're just, yeah,
Not doing that with my hands. But yes, I have been on long phone conversations where I'm like, why am I even here? Oh my gosh, that was so bad.
Yeah, I totally understand that.
I'll never forget.
I did that. I do that every so often in front of people, and they just start dying. One of my old managers, she just started shaking her head, laugh.
I'll still never forget when we were driving in the car. Where was it, Denny's or Carl's Jr. to get breakfast? I think it was Denny's because Carl's Jr. totally snubbed us for breakfast that day. You were like, "Hey, let's get ingredients to Denny's," and you had your Bluetooth earpiece in because I was losing my marbles listening to the. Okay, everybody, this is Sears Corporate here. We need to sell more stuff, and then somebody just like starts cursing in the background, and then you're like, "That was great." Was not this person, somebody else. But let's just say Jimmy all of a sudden is sitting there like, oh my gosh, oh, this is great. Because he has it on mute. And I'm like, oh gosh.
Yeah, some people just don't even think. They do not
Bad.
mute stuff. And it's like, come on, people. Don't. And what's bad is when you're on a call and somebody starts like cussing or carrying on and making fun of the person who talks. And it's like, you're an idiot. You are an idiot. I just hope that somebody somewhere says, I know who that was.
Rats him out to corporate, and that was their last phone conversation.
This isn't into the lollipop version. Guy I work with, that's serious. This is hilarious. The guy's funny. He comes up and he goes, hey, so did you go drinking last night? You know?
Let me guess who that is.
It's like, no, it's this, not.
We're going to have to kill this stream with fire as well. Oh my god.
Luckily, by now, there's only 12 people watching now, and by this point, nobody's going to be making it to this point anyway.
No.
If you rewatch it. And it's on your channel.
Oh, even better.
It's hidden.
Oh, gosh.
What are you looking up now?
I'm looking at Theory's dual tape measure that does both metric and American. Like,
here's the problem I have with those when they're like that is a lot of times the part you need to measure is on the top side of it. I like to just have it's all metric.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, well, we do still have the kerosene heater going, so our carbon dioxide levels might be getting a little bit high in the room. We have the door closed.
Door's closed, but there's so much drafts in this room.
Yeah, I know. Oh gosh.
Well, it is after 10 o'clock, dude.
I am. Shoot, what time did it even roll in here at? Like 8:30, and we didn't start this till 9.
It's either is meant to look like you're drinking.
I had to have a coworker explain to me what that was in video gaming, and I'm like, oh, geez.
Really? You didn't know what that meant?
I don't,
dude.
I don't do video games, so.
It's like I do with video games. It has nothing to do with video games. I thought you had some of that on your laptop.
I give up. Oh man.
Lisa says Dutch oven.
I am dead. I am dead on so many levels right now.
Yeah, I better get you the key to the motorhome so you can go and
Yeah.
go to bed.
Good idea.
Or you need to bring that other printer out here?
What time are you gonna leave in the morning?
I gotta leave from here at 7 by 7:10, 7:15.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna be out of here 2 to 3 tomorrow, depending upon what time the landlady says. So yeah, we should probably pull it out of the car tonight. I'll take a little bit.
Okay. Where should we put it?
That's a good question. We'll find a room somewhere.
Let's see. That's a tall one, isn't it?
Yeah, really tall. I did take the spool holders off the top and spin them over though.
So it actually belongs down here.
Probably.
So I'll take the A20 and move it.
Okay.
And then we can, well, Yeah, because I can move the TiVo box over behind the TiVo, and that should fit right there.
Okay.
Cool.
Cool.
Okay, guys. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll catch you guys later.
Later.